All right, let's start discussing how you can use Guitar Pro. I believe you said you have Guitar Pro 8, so they just came out with 8. So that's what I have up right now. Now, let's look at some of the panels that we can turn on and off. We'll take a look at how to change the view size and all this stuff. So for something like this right now, just gonna have to scroll down to put this where you want it. You can use this scroll bar here to the side. My mouse allows me to kind of do it without it. But anyway, up here, see where this percentage is? You can change how small, how big it is, going through that. So it's a good thing to adjust your file to fit your screen. Like my percentage needs to be a little bit different because of the monitor I'm looking at. So anytime you get your file, just change that to whatever you need it to be so you can clearly see everything. Now, let's look up here. A lot of times when I do stuff, I turn these things off. This way I can have more room to see the tab. So if you ever need those on, this panel right here, this shows different note durations along with some other stuff like performance wise you can input yourself here. So if you start learning how to use Guitar Pro, seeing this panel will be very helpful. So this way you can see, what like note durations are being used, how to change those. But that's basically what this panel over here is for. So for what you and I are doing, you won't need it open. This panel, this displays your song information. Usually I have that down so I can enter all kinds of information in these windows here. The track part, you can use that to change what tuning or add strings, things like that. You can change the sound of the MIDI guitar. But for what you will be using this for practice purposes, you don't need this open. Down here, this middle button here opens up a panel at the bottom. This could be useful. This is where you can change the volume of the MIDI guitar. If it's too loud compared to the metronome, then you can change it here. So some big things we want to keep in mind here. Now this says, play with the repeat. So the way Guitar Pro is going to perform this, you will hear the repeat. Up here, you have an hourglass and a little metronome. You want to make sure both are turned on. The hourglass is a count in, so you're going to hear 4 clicks before it plays. And then this is your metronome, so you will continue hearing the clicks as you play. These 3 dots to the right of the metronome, this is where you can change the volume of the metronome. Usually you're going to want it all the way up. But at least that's how it needed to be with Guitar Pro 7. I don't know how it's going to be with Guitar Pro 8. I haven't tried it yet. So that's the main thing. But you can change the metronome volume here by clicking on those 3 dots. And make sure that the count in and the metronome are both on. The next important thing, changing the metronome. We're changing how fast it goes. Every time you go to change the tempo, you need to have your cursor at the start. If you have it over here, when you change the tempo, it will change the tempo where the cursor is. It will not change it at the beginning. Make sure your cursor is at the very start every single time you change the tempo. So sometimes you can just click right there on the tempo. Sometimes it's easier just to come up here. So you see where we have our count in and our metronome turned on. Well, right there, you get to open up your tempo there. And then you just type in the next speed once you're ready. So you run through your 60. The next speed to do is 80. You just type in 80, hit enter, and you're good to go. So let's let me get some volume here. And you can click on this up here to make sure you get your cursor to the start. If you let it play to the end like that, your cursor will go back to the start for you. And then once you've played that successfully, go up here, you enter the new tempo, and you're good to go. Now, as always, if a mistake is made, you'll need to start it over again. So I'm going to let this play for a little bit. So let's say you make a mistake there. Hit your space bar. Hit the space bar to stop it from playing. Come back up here, hit that arrow, so this way you go back to the start, and then you can do it again. So you can also hit space bar to start it. So instead of clicking on anything, you have your pick in hand, you're ready to go, hit the space bar. And that'll allow you to start playing it without having to click on anything. You will need to click up here to make sure that the cursor goes back to the start. So go ahead and just follow those speeds that we have on screen right now for number 1 and number 2. And to demonstrate next week, I'm going to turn this off now. So to demonstrate, as you have been doing next week, go ahead and let's see how well things go without playing with Guitar Pro. Could you, it is possible to have Guitar Pro play and then you play along with it and record all that stuff. I'm curious how you will do without Guitar Pro though. So throughout this week, every time you practice, play along with Guitar Pro. Follow just those speeds that we have. Make sure you follow the proper strumming direction too. So, for example, this cymbal here, that is a downstroke. This cymbal here is an upstroke. You have to go down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. Just follow those strum direction symbols. That should set you right. So yes, back to what to send over next week. Do the old-fashioned metronome. Record everything at the speeds you've been practicing. And let's hear how well you can follow along just the metronome, not Guitar Pro. Let's see if it allows you to really get things solidified. Just give it the best you can with those videos, and we'll take it from there. So if you have any questions on how to use this program or how to practice any of this stuff, let me know. But we're gonna take advantage of Guitar Pro, and this is gonna be your practice guide, your practice buddy. Okay? So, any questions, let me know. I will see you again next week.